It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yo, man, got an extra note in there. Boom, Miss Rusty. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Public Access Podcast, the podcast. And next time we record, it'll be the podcast. There's going to be a break, I think, until, I don't know, maybe around like when is my next one? Maybe the 5th or something. Taking a little break so I can move. And I can't record on the move. So let me see when the next one is. I want to say, so 6? When is it? When are we doing the next one? Oh, no. On the 4th, I'm going to be on a different podcast. It'll be the 6th. November 6th is when we're going to come back. So you guys have time to go back and catch up on everything else on the Rusty Diamond Network, tentatively called. Who knows what it's going to be, but check out other shows on the network. There might be more coming. Who knows? But welcome, everybody. And thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to bring my special guest right here, right now. And right here, right now, we have Andreea
Hi,
Billig. Hello. There she
hi.
is. Thank
Happy
you.
Friday.
Happy Friday is correct. I forgot it's Friday until you said that. Which isn't, whatever Friday means to you. What does Friday mean to you?
Oh, when I was in a corporate job, it was the beginning of my freedom. Finally, I would have 2 days and a half to kind of do whatever I want with my life and with my time. But now I'm not in that situation. So I guess it's just another day, to enjoy on the planet.
Right. And that's I like. Um I like doing that. I like having that option. Like I love Monday mornings. I talk about this a lot on here. Like everyone is getting back to work, but I'm usually up a little before everyone else too and getting everything going. I'm excited to get to work and do what I'm doing. And so what'd you do on those days, those 2.5 days of freedom when you had then 4.5 days of non-freedom? What'd you do
Non-freedom.
on yeah, or
Well,
whatever you like to call it? What'd you do on that time when you had the 2.5 days?
Well, I mean, that was in my previous life. I have
Oh,
to say, I was a different person back then.
how
So,
so?
well, because, back then, I think I was living more in fear than love. And this is one of my books. I choose love, a journey from fear to love, because I think whenever we do something, not because it's feels like this is our calling in life, but we do
Yeah,
something just to survive, that comes from fear. So I was in that job. I was doing PR, which was still, a very nice job. You get to be very creative, and I got to work with international brands and artists, but still my heart wasn't into it anymore.
I mean,
So there
what
was
were you thinking then when you're driving to work every day or going? Were you working at home, or I mean, what were you thinking like
when
before
I
the
was
day
driving.
starts?
Well, I mean, sometimes there were projects which I loved, and I was like, doing an event, like, for example, a fashion show, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then, but there were days where I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. But let me answer your first question. So,
Sure.
so there was because I wasn't actually living my life purpose. There was a sort of emptiness inside.
Yeah.
So, you know what people do when they feel that inner void? They try to fill it up with something else. So that something else would happen during that free time. So that would be maybe go shopping to a mall, or go watch a movie, or sleep in, because to make up for the rest of the week, or go on a date, stuff like that. So, or go and buy food.
Right.
So
So then what'd you do?
pretty much what everybody else is doing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they say they're doing. Who knows what they're doing?
Well, no, it's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yes. I mean, a lot of people are doing a lot of different things. And then so was there a point where you just thought, I need to get out of this? Or did that happen kind of naturally, or what went down with that? Is this probably a question you've been asked often on podcasts?
Not so much, because I don't really talk about that time of my life, but it's an interesting question. And I have to say, you can hear my accent, and I have an accent because I was actually born and raised in Romania. So that part of my life was happening in Romania, in Bucharest. But growing up, I could see, to me, life was, something was off. When I would look at the adult, like the mature grown-ups, and I would
What they say, mature grown-ups.
but which is rare, actually, emotionally. That's a whole different conversation. But I would look at them and see them going through the same grind day by day and not really being happy. And to me, that felt like, oh, this is slavery. I mean, I know you have the money, you have the house, you have the car, but still, you go to work and you don't really want to work, but you have no other choice. That's not freedom. This is slavery. So
in a way, yeah.
Knew that there must be something more to life. So as a child, I wanted to be a dancer. That was one of my dreams, and I wanted to be on stage, but I was too shy. So whenever when I would dance, for example, and my parents would pop up in the room, I would stop. So they never realized I had this in me. But finally, back in, I think it was 2009, I went to Miami, and I saw people dancing salsa, and I loved it. And then when I returned home in Romania, a neighbor said, I'm going to this ballroom dancing school, and they have this summer special offer. So if you'd like to join, now is a good time for you to do it. And I was single, and this is another, topic we can talk about today, because I have a book about, romance and online dating and all that coming up. And I said, okay, now I'm single. I don't have to build my world around my partner, and I will go. And I went, and it turned out that actually the woman who owned the school, she was a sort of a spiritual teacher. And
ballroom dancing and spiritual?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that opened a whole new world for me. When I think when I was ready, and then they told me, if you're not on your life path, things are going to shift. And so that was 2009. Then 2010, basically, I lost my PR job because they downsized. And then I had another client. I was doing a magazine for them, and they downsized too, because that recession that hit the US in 2008 hit Romania 2 years later.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I was jobless out of the blue, and luckily, I had money in the bank, and I had an apartment, and I had a car, so I didn't have to immediately get another job. And I never had a job ever. I mean, I've never been employed ever since. So that's what happened.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And so when so then that's 2010, and so then were you thinking you wanted to come back over here to the States, or did you stay in Romania for a while longer?
Well, eventually I moved to the States in 2019, and that's another crazy story, because this was my dream growing up as a child, to at least visit this country for some reason. Past lives, those of you who are familiar with the concept, I'm sure I had like a some old connection with this land.
Have you ever done that?
What?
Have you ever done that? Have you ever done a past life,
Yeah.
anything? Did you come up with anything like that?
Well, I did a past life. I did a regression. Somebody led me through it. And my first book, my first published book, it's called Four Doors and Other Stories. It's a short story collection. Is actually inspired by that experience. So the story that gives the title, the book title, Four Doors, is like inspired by that. And it's the story of undergrad that who goes to see her teacher, and she's in a hallway with four doors, and each doors leads her to a different time in history. But what I found out, so while I was in that past life regression, the last scene I saw was still in Romania, Bucharest, and it was beginning of the First World War. And I was very young, and my husband was killed in combat. He was a pilot, and I swore I would never love again. So guess what happened in this lifetime?
That was
yeah. So yeah.
What was that realization like when you figured that out, when you're doing the regression? When you found out that, or did it take a while, like a few weeks?
It took 4 years. It took 4 years. It took 4 years and another how should I say, dysfunctional relationship to realize that, hey, there is something going on. Why am I attracting all these people who are not, I wouldn't say good for me, because they were good for me otherwise in some way to learn something, because otherwise I wouldn't have. But I was like, what's going on here? And then that memory popped up. Wait a minute, you swore that, so you have to undo it. Yeah.
So how'd you undo it?
Awareness is the first thing, and then you can just go. If you're in a similar situation, maybe you can work with someone, or I think if you can just make a decision and go into that kind of meditative state of mind, so you're not in beta anymore, you're going a deeper state of consciousness,
right?
You can lead yourself through the process where I let go of whatever oath I made at some point in my existence, poverty, celibacy, all that things can be undone. We don't have to carry them.
So you went back into that deeper state of mind and did this already and got through it and worked your way. And
I'm still working. So it's not, it
just
doesn't
good.
just like this, but I think I'm getting better at opening my heart, because it's about an opening of the heart, and it's about connecting to what's in our hearts, and what's in our hearts is what I call our superpower, which is love. So yeah.
Well, and so then, and one thing also, so with the past life regression, when I deal with writers with hypnosis, they tell me they have writer's block. I give them a past life regression, because they're going to come up with something. They're going to see something that is true to them, for one, which will make it easier to write. And then those experiences are very vivid and also personal. So, I mean, was it pretty, I don't want to say easy for you to write that, or did it come to you kind of naturally, being able to write those experiences that you had, or what do you think?
Yeah, it was. I loved it. It's just, since you work with authors, you are in that. I was in that state of flow, in the zone, how they say, where it's just you're just a vessel. You're just an instrument. You're just a scribe. It's not coming from the mind. It's coming from way beyond that. So, yeah, that was.
So how are you writing it? Were you using a pen and paper? Were you using a computer, your phone, typewriter, chisel and stone?
I need to say, I write it in blood. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, you have a lot of blood.
No,
That's a short story.
I type on my laptop. That's what I do. But I need to be in my. I know some people love to go to coffee shops, or I need to be in my own bubble, in my own space. I have an office here. You're actually in my creative sanctuary, so to call it,
Oh,
because
thank
I'm in
you.
Sedona, so I can speak. I can use this lingo, sanctuary and goddess and all that. But so I need this my own to be in my own energy, in my own space, quiet, and ideally first thing in the morning before anything else. That's the best for me.
So when you say first thing in the morning, do you mean you open your eyes and you go right to it and start going, or do you have like an hour buffer? Like what is first thing in
Okay.
the morning? Is this
Maybe
like
fourth.
Salvador Dali kind of thing?
Maybe fourth thing in the morning. No, I wake up. I do my little yoga routine, and shower and have a little breakfast and meditate, and then I'm ready to go.
Ready to write.
Yeah.
And so are you still, is that become sort of a routine? Are you kind of every morning going and writing after you get going, or is it more of a when it strikes you, or?
Well, I learned that I think pretty much everything in life, when you want to really be excellent, you need discipline. And especially for me, since I'm not a native speaker, for me to be able to use the language, the English language, to the extent I can do it in Romanian, so for me it takes more practice than for a native speaker. So if I want to, especially, and when I work on a novel, I need to stay consistent and do it every day, because otherwise it shows. So yeah, if I'm working on a project, then that's how I start my day, with my routine, and then the writing, and then everything else, like helping authors like you do, but in a different way, with their book marketing and self-publishing and any other projects stuff comes up next.
So then how are you finding new authors to work with? Are you,
They're finding me.
they're finding you, and so are you able to kind of, are you able to, do you have a certain type of author you look for it, or is it kind of person to person, or do you have like all authors that all have the same creator characteristic?
Well, I'll have to. So I wanna. They're all very. They're all very gifted, and they're all very kind people. That's what I manifested so far. But I can give you an example. So I moved of how people come into my life as clients and then friends. I moved from Bucharest to Orange County, California, and then last year in July I moved to Sedona, Arizona, and there is this weekly magazine. It's called Kudos, very nice magazine where you can find about the events, entertainment, book launches, stuff that happens here in the Verde Valley. So I saw this tiny article about a book launch event in Clarkdale, and my intuition said, you should go. So I went, and I heard a gentleman asking the owner of the shop, of the bookstore, "Hey, do you know someone who does book covers?" And I don't do, but I have my team who does. And I said, "Oh, I can help you." So this gentleman, who has an amazing story, and actually I would love to connect the two of you, because he would be a great guest. He was an outlaw. He was a biker in an outlaw motorcycle club, Hangman. And from there, he became a pilot for American Airlines. So he flew those big jets, filled with passengers.
Yeah.
He had the world record in rifle shooting. And now he's an number one Amazon best-selling author in motorcycle history. And he's the kindest man ever, and it's been an honor to work with him.
Yeah, definitely.
But
My way.
I also do self-publishing mastery. So selfpublishingmastery.com, that's my business, and it's an award-winning educational center. And it's a resource hub, but also my services are showcased there. And then I did a lot of public speaking at writers' conferences on the West Coast, even in Oklahoma. I was invited last year to speak. So that's
How
another,
was Oklahoma?
yeah.
How'd you
Oklahoma
like
is pretty
Oklahoma?
hot. And I wanted to walk from the hotel to Trader Joe's to get some food, and there was no sidewalks. And then you would see me walk, like in the grass, and people were driving. They're probably thinking that I'm crazy, but I'm just European. That's all we do. We walk. So,
Walking over to
yeah,
Trader Joe's and um
yeah. Trader Joe's is
well,
the best.
yeah. So I mean, so what's been kind of has that been kind of, or what's, I guess, been the wildest place you've been in the States then? The place where you felt like this is all weird. This is, I don't, have you felt that yet? Or have you gone to a place
Downtown
where like
LA. Downtown
downtown LA?
LA. Yeah.
What was it about it? What was about downtown LA that just
Oh,
was,
the energy. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows what's going on right now. I haven't been downtown LA in a couple of years, but the energy it's very heavy. It's very, I don't know. It's weird. It's not a place where you'd like to be for a long time. But
I feel like every big city on the West Coast is like that right now.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe, not so much San Diego, although I don't know. When I went to
San Diego's a weird anomaly with that. San Diego's always been pretty
yeah.
chill. I've always enjoyed it there, but I mean, as far as like LA, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, BC, all those cities just feel off right the last 5 years or what you were saying at least. Just there's something weird, something.
So So you think, because I was having a conversation the other night, and the main takeaway was like, we need to move away, just get a piece of land and be self-sustainable, yeah, self-sustainable, and move away from the cities. And that's been an idea that's been around for the past few years, since we all know what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great idea, and you picked a good space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've been kind of looking into that, and it's been back and forth, but yeah, I mean, even this place that I'm moving to now is definitely away from the cities, and that's gonna be a big help too.
But the cities, I grew up in Bucharest, as I said, and is the biggest city in Romania. And they were fun, I mean, you could go to theaters and coffee shops and opera and concerts. And
Were you doing a lot of that when you were living there?
yeah, well, when I was growing up, yeah, it was part of my I wouldn't say routine, but yeah, it was part of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so when you came here, were you finding things that were kind of the same, or when you came here, were you seeing different, going to different I guess probably still going to coffee shops, but you going to concerts or opera or things like that
Well,
in
I
the
think
States?
it was easier in California, in Orange County, because I would have more options. Here, I would have to drive to Phoenix. I went to a ballet this summer. It was in the Botanical Gardens in Phoenix. It was beautiful.
Oh, okay. You went to Phoenix in the summer.
Yeah,
How was that? Was it a little hot?
I was very sweaty. Well, Sedona is still, Sedona is really hot too in the summer,
Yeah,
um, but it comes with the territory. I mean, what can I do?
but I mean, it's great. And the rest of the year, when everyone else is chilly, you're not.
Oh,
You're,
a little bit, but it's beautiful when it snows. It's like that white powder on top of the red rocks is gorgeous.
yeah. Well, how high is that? Do you know the elevation where you are?
No,
Okay.
no,
Yeah.
but
It's a high desert, right?
yeah, it's high desert. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, you
my
have
favorite.
Flagstaff, which is higher, so there you
Yeah.
can actually go skiing, and that's good.
Do you go skiing?
Yeah,
Do you ski or snowboard or what
I
do you do?
ski. I
You ski
ski.
it.
Yeah.
Do you, is that something new or were you skiing when growing up or anything?
Well, I that's another thing I wanted to do as a child, and I did it briefly, and then I picked it up when I in my 20s, and then when I moved to Sedona, I didn't do it while I was in California, but when I moved here, Flagstaff is it's 30 miles away, so I said I'll do it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's nothing really too much better than being up at the top of you get up to the top of the lift and you're about to get off. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite things is just knowing that it's like, okay, I'm about to go down this hill. This is the good life here. And
Yeah. And I love nature. This is why, I don't really miss the city, because being able to walk right out the door and be on the trails, that's amazing. So
yeah, yeah, I mean you can't really beat that. And that's wherever. You don't have to travel somewhere to get there. Like you said, you open the door and
yeah.
you're at the trail. Um, so then, okay, so you ended up going from Orange County to Sedona,
Mm-hmm.
and then so was this like part of you were talking beforehand about the your book.
Yeah.
So is this all part of this book? Is this part of that, or is that
Uh,
something different? Is that the lead up to it?
okay. So
It's
that's the book that's I Choose Love, A Journey from Fear to Love.
uh-huh.
So I wrote, this is the book I was mentioning earlier when I said that I used to be in fear and not so much in love as a frequency of my existence. So this book was inspired by a series of events that happened in 2015, including my first travel trip to Southern California, which led to me eventually being here. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know how this would happen. It just, happened.
So was this from Romania to Southern California?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so did you meet someone then and then came out there to Southern California? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
I used to follow this woman, Jennifer McLean. She would do twice a year these virtual summits, and she would have Greg Braden, Wayne Dyer, you name it, everybody was on those summits.
Yeah.
And I would listen and take notes. And then out of the blue, she says, "I'm doing this event in Santa Ana, where I ended up living, and it's only $100." And you all know, like people charge thousands of dollars for this kind of,
Yeah.
enlightening events. And I said, okay, let me check out the flights. And the flights, I didn't know where Santa Ana was. I had no clue, but I said, I need to go. So I was able to find a pretty affordable flight. And then, it was just one thing after another. Before I left Romania, I met a guy who knew someone who lives in Orange County and who used to be a famous actor. And he connected me with the guy, and the guy introduced me to his friends. Somebody took me to Huntington Beach, and I kind of fell in love with that place. And
Sure.
I thought, oh, I wish I would live here. It was just a wish coming from my heart. Speaking of how do we manifest our, you don't have to repeat the same mantra day after day. Sometimes all you need to do is just make a wish, like really from your heart, and then things will kind of fall into place. And then I connected on Facebook with a guy who was Romanian but was living in the United States. He invited me to spend some time with him. I thought he was the one. He wasn't the one. He was just a stepping stone on my journey. And then I meet more people, and then I started speaking at writers' conferences, and I published this book, I Choose Love. And then that's how so I didn't get married like many people get married, but I didn't. It was just based on my skills and accomplishments. The authorities decided that, okay, I'm a good asset. I should be here. And
okay.
and I didn't have a plan, really. I didn't have a plan. It was just following my heart and being open and being in a complete state of gratitude. That's very important, because to me, being in Huntington and in California, and walking to the beach and strangers beating me, hello, and how are you doing, and have a beautiful day, and just being here. And while my connationals were freezing in Romania, I was in so much gratitude that it drew in more reasons to be grateful. So
And so then, okay, so then yes, then you're loving it there. Did you have to like go back to get your stuff in Romania, or did you
I
just
only came
pack
with
up one
this.
day and
No, I still have my apartment is there. My skis are there. I have different pair of skis here. So I only came with 2 suitcases when I moved here in 2019. I have, like, now I call them soul family in Orange County. Julie and Orb, my dear friends. I stayed at their house since 2017 when I first met them. So when I came here, I stayed with them in the beginning. Again, I didn't have a job. And then very soon I met a guy. So I moved here in February. I met a guy in March at an event. We started dating. I moved out briefly I rented a room in Huntington, and then we moved in together at the end of the year. So, and then the relationship kind of fell apart in 2021. But yeah, so there was no need for me to, I mean, why would I bring furniture and stuff from Romania? There is so much here. No,
right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was easy in the beginning. I only had 2 suitcases, and then I bought a car because I knew
You're
it's
in Southern California. You need a
yeah.
car.
Yeah, even here in Sedona, you cannot go from the village where I am to West Sedona. But now, now I have stuff. Now I have stuff. Now I have furniture. Now I have, a lease. Now I make carpets. So now things are more complicated than that.
Not this 2 suitcase life
Yeah.
anymore.
No, I need probably 10, but I'm trying,
Yeah.
I've learned it's good not to, because we tend to do this to accumulate stuff. And I learned not to accumulate stuff and not to buy clothes that would just sit in the, in the closet with their tags on and all that kind of stuff. It's when, I'm happy in summertime to wear shorts and t-shirt. That's all I need.
Right. And I mean, you can do that, yeah, for most of the time. And then, yeah, when it gets to be cold, you throw a jacket and a pair of
Yeah.
pants onto that, and
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I've pared down a lot. And then for a while, I had a store. I had like a vintage store, and then I got rid of that. I sold it all off to someone as which was nice. Just
Mhm.
not having to have all that
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
stuff. And so, but yeah, I'm trying to get back down to that 2 suitcase life.
Yeah, it's good. Although, Amazon is very tempting. It's very easy to get sucked in that. And, oh, this is
Yeah,
pretty. Let me buy it. But then, okay, but
what do I have that for now? And then, I mean, even with this, with the podcast and all this stuff, like I bought so much stuff
uh-huh.
that all these nice microphones and mixers and the lights I'm still using, a couple of them, but then and backgrounds and stuff, but then like the nice headphones, microphone and mixer I got, this works better me just taking this headset and plugging it directly into the laptop. And
Yeah.
I bought a you know a,
Camera.
a camera, and
Yeah.
the one on the thing works better on the laptop, works better than the one I bought. And so now it's just like, okay, now I can get rid of this stuff at least. Like, what I wish I didn't. I thought I need it, but it's like, well, I guess I don't. Less things to have. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, I had a friend, she turned me on to having under 100 things. And I've been trying to do that for, I don't know, like 12, 13 years, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. But
Okay, that's an interesting idea. Okay.
yeah,
Also counting.
yeah,
See?
yeah, you start counting around here. There's definitely more than 100 just in this room. And so I'm trying to get that down and yeah, get back to like I don't know. I'd buy stuff to resell it, and then I just try to post. And posting is always the hardest thing for me. So I just kept accumulating more and more stuff. Like, oh, I'm gonna sell this, and then I don't. And then I just have more stuff, and
But that takes time to
yeah,
go through all the how to get it, to sell it. I sometimes, I just there is a thrift store right around the corner. So I
yeah,
said, I'll just donate it
yep.
and yeah,
I think that's a better idea. If it's time is not worth that
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Um, and so then your book was about online dating. So were you doing online dating, or was
Oh,
that
no. So yeah, so this is actually
a
this is
different book?
yeah, so I wrote my first novel when I was 14 back in Romania. That's all I did
Oh,
for a year. And I always wrote about love. So that's my big topic. I now I brand myself as the love activator. I have curly
oh,
hair. So I was looking at the bottle and it said like curl activator. And I said, oh, love activator, because we are all love activators. When we go out into the world and we do something kind for somebody, or even a smile, or that's when we activate the love in other people. But so that novel was never published, and then I wrote the short story collection and nonfiction books. But I had this idea um, in 2016 when I was in Dublin, Ireland.
yeah.
So here it is. That's my life on Tinder, which is inspired by my own life on Tinder, actually. And it's a trilogy about a Romanian woman in her 30s who travels the world to find true love, because a gypsy fortune teller tells her that that's the way to go about. But the interesting fact is the gypsy fortune teller doesn't say you need to travel the world to find a man. You need to travel the world to find true love.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
you know? So
Yeah.
it's in here. It's always in here. And I think we need to find it in here within to then to find it without, or to basically bring it into our lives. So that's the first book happens in Southern California. She matches on Tinder, because I didn't want to get in a lawsuit. And
Right.
so
No need.
and I think tender is more tender.
Yeah.
So she matches this while she's in London. She matches a rock star from Southern California, and she goes there, and she hopes he's the one, but he's not the one. Oh, I'm spoiling the okay. So
We
yeah,
won't get too far into it.
yeah, I'm not okay. I'm starting here. So the book is it's coming out on 11/11. I will do a book launch event
Ooh.
in Clarkdale. So if you are watching and you are in Northern Arizona, Clarkdale, 11/11 is the date. And actually, I want to tell you the cover. So the designer of the cover, he's a guitar player. He opened for Nirvana and he opened for Pearl Jam in his 20s. And this guitar belongs to him. These are his shoes.
You from
And
Seattle or something?
he lives in New River, so he's here, and we matched on
Oh,
Tinder.
okay. All
That's
right.
we matched earlier this year in March, and it's very interesting how our story mirrors the story in the book. Although the story in the book was written 3 years ago in 2019, 4 years ago.
You had love intuition or something.
I don't know, but so he will be there. So he will be there. He will be there I have another guest who is a Grammy Award sound engineer, Ray DiLeo. He will be there. And then I have a host, G. Brian Benson, who is a TEDx speaker and an award-winning author. And so, because that's how I roll, I like to bring people together and do something that, so we can talk about this phenomenon of, of rock music, rock star, online dating, and all that kind of stuff. So Michael Johnny Walker, who did a cover, maybe I can persuade him to play his guitar. He doesn't want to, but Ray DiLeo, he plays guitar too, so I think he will play some music. So that should be fun.
Sounds like quite the event. And so, how are people going to find that event? You said it's on the 11th.
11th. So
11/11.
Yeah, 11/11. I'm sending out I'm competing with all the
Veterans Day
events happening on 11/11 in Sedona, enlightenment, meditation, portal, stuff like that.
Okay,
yeah,
that too. Yeah.
Kudos is going to write about it, and I'll post in groups, and I'll use my PR skills to.
There you go.
To the
And then, so people can find you. I'll have them listed out on the show notes. But where can people find you? Otherwise,
I'd very much love you to find me on Amazon because
that's a great place.
Because my books are there. My pen name is actually A.G. Billig. So if you're looking for Andreea, you're not going to find me. So it's A.G. Billig. And my author website is also agbillig.com, and Instagram is agbillig author, so you can find me there. And I have a YouTube channel. You won't remember all this even if I tell you.
People can pause it, they can go and rewind it back, and they can listen.
Where is it?
What was it? Okay, but it'll be in the show notes too. So
thank you. So
click on that.
So and you can find me in Sedona, if you're here.
Yeah, that sounds like a good deal there.
Well,
hey, Andreea, thank you so much for being on. Like I said, if you're ever out Amish country, let me know.
You have good butter there. I need to come, but
that was something I was the spices I'm not quite sure about is going to be how it is, but the food has been pretty amazing out there. That I've been enjoying that. So but if you ever want, you let me know. And then send your friend my way. Just tell him that you sent him. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and best of luck on everything.
Thank you. Same to you and same to everybody. And don't forget that love is your superpower. So don't be afraid to use it. Okay. Love as much as you can.
Thank you. All right. Bye. Cool. Andreea Billig. Check her out. A.G. Billig. Just try to say that better, I guess. Thank you, everyone, for listening here on the not anymore. Nope, it's the Rusty Diamond Network. That's what it is now. That's a whole other story. Maybe one day it'll be a podcast episode. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it, though. But anyway, hey guys, thank you for being here. Check out Andreea. I'll put links galore. There's links galore for her. So thank you, everyone, for listening. And that is the show. Man. Boom. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.